From Nickerson Field in Boston, it's the opening weekend of Patriot League play, and today the Terriers face their toughest test yet this season. They face off against the 16th-ranked midshipmen of Navy. Welcome down onto the field alongside Marissa and Jemmy, and Nick Cope here with you. BU plays Navy today. Navy, a strong defensive team, and they hope to be back in the NCAA tournament this year.
Yeah, Navy's trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2009. They're a very strong defensive team led by Tuaraton candidate Chris Finnell. Navy's coming off of a 5-1 victory over Delaware where they held an NCAA Division I team to just one goal. That's solid defense, and that'll be a tough test for BU today.
Let's take a look at the matchup between the two clubs. You look at the numbers, the Terriers, they're to have a chance today. They have to take care of the ball, and they have to do better on clears.
Yeah, the Terriers' clearing percentage is at .778. That's not a good percentage. Every time I've spoken with head coach Ryan Pulley this season, he's talked about clearing. It's definitely a key for BU. It's something they've struggled with all season. We saw Hartford take advantage of it next week, and Navy, as a ranked team, they're definitely going to try to take advantage of that as well.
Players to watch, you mentioned him earlier for Navy, Chris Finnell leading this defense and a member of the Tuaraton watch list as well.
Yeah, Finnell's a huge player for Navy. He's one of the top professional prospects who hasn't been drafted yet in NCAA Division I. Finnell's one of the best defenders in the country, and he's probably Navy's MVP so far this season. He's definitely a player the BU offense is going to struggle going up against.
On BU, we're looking at a defensive player as well. Dominic Callisto has led the defense near the net.
And Callisto's really gone head-to-head against the top offensive players of all opponents. He'll probably go against TJ Henschey today on Navy. Callisto's been a huge part of a Terrier defense that's led the nation in caused turnovers with 44. He has 6 himself. Callisto's definitely been a huge part of this Terriers defense, and he's going to have to be again today.
Should be a tough test for BU. Navy won the previous 2 meetings handily. We'll have opening face-off when we come back on the Patriot League Network. And we welcome you back to Nickerson Field on the campus of Boston University. Terriers and number 16 Navy set to square off. On a gorgeous day in Boston, it's still cool. Temperatures around 40 degrees, but plenty of sunshine, no clouds in the sky. About a nice day for lacrosse as you could ask for in late February. Alongside Marissa and Jemmy, Nick Cope here with you. It's the opening weekend of the Patriot League season. 8 teams in action. Army, the team that is idle this weekend. And for BU, after last week's 16-10 loss against Hartford, it's all about taking care of the ball today. They'll have a little bit of help. Cal Dearth is back in the lineup for BU.
And that's just about the best news the Terriers could have gotten going into this game, to have Cal Dearth, your offensive quarterback, back into midfield. They've done okay without him until last week. We saw the offense really begin to struggle. Now with Dearth back in the lineup, I'd expect to see a lot of better settled offense than we saw against Hartford, where they really struggled to get into a rhythm.
Sam Talco for BU against Brady Dove of Navy on the opening faceoff. These two have battled each other for 3 straight meetings now. Navy won the first 2 matchups. Of course, BU in their 3rd season as a varsity program. Dove has it pinned along the turf. He'll jar it free and come forward. Dove charging in, takes the shot, skips it wide.
And the Patriot League is kind of known for its strong face-off specialist. Dove and Talco, 2 of the best in the country, let alone the Patriot League.
Yeah, Dove last year was member of the All-Patriot League first team, just under 63% in face-offs last year. Talco just got the better of him a couple games, but they were pretty much dead even in both previous meetings. So Navy will set up on offense first. The offense hasn't been super strong yet. That was really the big question mark for the Mids coming into this season. They return their top 4 scorers. They only graduated 28 points from last season. 15 seniors head up this roster. They started the season with a win against Air Force, then a double overtime loss against Johns Hopkins. It was a great matchup down in Annapolis. And then they're coming off a 5-1 victory against Delaware. The defense was dominant.
Holding a Division I team to 1 goal is something you don't see very often, but something to keep in mind too, and head coach of Navy Rick Sohl talked a lot about it this week to the media, was they only scored 5 goals as well in that game.
Another shot from Navy on the far side. It came from Kasey Reese, sophomore midfielder, getting the start. Navy will retain possession. About 1:15 in. Patrick Keena, co-captain, puts it back into play. Keena led the team in scoring last year with 36 points on 14 goals and 22 assists. Terrier defense ranked 7th in the Patriot League, allowing about 9 goals per game. Carson-Banister hasn't seen a shot on goal. Both shots have skipped wide of him. Keena thrown across. Open look and airmailed. Jack Ray had a great look the far side, and the Terriers closest to the back line take possession.
Something to keep in mind about the Terrier defense, they've allowed 9 goals per game, which is 26 in the nation, but they're one of the only teams to play 4 games this season so far. So that's that kind of, they are 7th in the nation in teams that have played 3 games in goals allowed.
And BU having trouble once again. That was a problem against Hartford last week. Couldn't get clearances, and that time the crossfield pass from Wozniak intended for Callisto off target.
Clearing's definitely been a big issue for this Terrier team. Like you said, against Hartford, it was a big issue. They have a clearing percentage of .778, which they definitely want to be a lot higher than that. Navy, that .923, and that's around where a lot of the elite teams are.
Wendel goes behind. Running from the X's, Hanshi. Quick passing from the mid so far. Scoreless game so far. A big windup, save from Carson-Banister on Grayson Terrain's look. Freshman able to get a solid shot off at the feet of Christian Carson-Banister, who's coming off a performance he probably feels he should do a little bit better of. 16 goals against Hartford, 7 saves. As Navy will take possession back here. But that was a game where you've seen what Carson-Banister can do the last couple of years. Kind of hope he could get a couple more saves in that game, but I think you'd probably put a little bit more of the blame on the defense in front of him.
When I spoke with head coach Ryan Poli yesterday, he specifically mentioned that the defense was not protecting their goaltender, and that's definitely something the Terriers defense wants to focus on, because all season it feels like, even though BU's defense has been a strong point, when they allow teams to get underneath their defense and around a crease, they start to allow more shots, and Carson-Banister struggles with those a bit more.
Well, the Terrier defense getting a lot of work early here. Navy's possessed for almost the entirety of the first 3+ minutes. Terriers with 1 turnover on a failed clearance, and that's about it. Floundlacker goes behind, looking for Ray. Ray, scoop shot just wide of the far post. Went along the turf. Carson-Banister with good reaction. Jack Ray, sophomore out of Wyckoff, New Jersey, was their 3rd leading scorer a year ago. He had 22 goals to go with 4 assists. Patrick Kina getting harassed by the long pole there of Callisto. He uses a screen from Floundlacker. Kina now defended by Alan Winkoff. No score here early. Kina whistled one wide again. So Navy had a lot of shots here. Not putting many on target, though. Just 1 save so far for Carson-Banister.
No, but again, this looks a bit like the Hartford game before that UMass Lowell game, where the BU defense just is allowing so many opportunities, and when teams get these possessions, this is why BU's offense was strong last season with their possession team. Teams start to score.
Wardell played it behind, moving in as Kina, and he gets Navy on the board. Was able to come from behind the cage and put it in along the turf, and Kina with his 6th goal of the season. Navy has the early lead.
That's exactly one of those goals where Carson-Banister isn't really being protected by his defense. Kina was left alone behind the net, and he comes up underneath the defense and buries it. 1-0 lead for Navy, and honestly, it should be, with BU haven't had a possession in this game where they've been able to get it across midfield.
Patrick Kina wears number 40, which is a big honor for Navy. Former lacrosse captain for the Mids, Brendan Looney, became a Navy SEAL. He was killed in action in Afghanistan, September of 2010. Now the players vote every year to which player on the team should wear number 40, and Kina, a senior this year, was given that honor. As we got a penalty flag here.
Talco went down hard.
Yeah, Terriers will go man up here. Man up offense has been solid for BU, 5 of 11. Percentage ranks 4th at about 45%. Now it's Jules Godino, the other captain of this team, and senior defenseman, big guy at 6'3", 206. Laid down the lumber.
And Talco's already been beaten up so much this season in general. I mean, he's come in and out of a few games. We saw it against Hartford last week. We saw it when BU was at High Point as well. And teams are just playing very physical on BU's face-off specialist.
Terriers go man up. Here's Cal Dearth back into the game. He's scored twice in each of the first 2 meetings against Navy in his career. Far side, Wilson. They rotate around the horn. Tenney back for Burr. One of the top freshman scorers with 10 goals on the year. Along the goal line, fed in front by Homeyer, looking for Tenney, and he missed it just wide. BU will keep possession. This is a 1-minute man-up opportunity. They're about 30 seconds into it.
We've seen Tenney playing in the midfield a lot this season so far, while Dearth has been out with Brendan Homeyer and Adam Schaal. He's playing a bit more attack in this game now with Dearth back.
Dearth running from the outside. He holds it here. Good pass for Wilson, and he scores just under the crossbar. A man-up goal for the Terriers. We're tied at 1.
And that's how Jack Wilson likes to score. He likes to shoot right under the crossbar. We've seen it with most of his goals this season. That's exactly how the Terriers' offense wants to set itself up and find Wilson right there open.
And Dearth setting him up. That's a pass with a lot of pulls in between that BU couldn't really get the last couple games with Dearth out of the lineup.
Definitely. BU struggled to pass through traffic. We've seen a few times a lot of these turnovers have been trying to force passes through traffic. Dearth's just a tremendous player at setting up these plays and these goals, and he's able to find Wilson, who's relatively open.
So BU gets his 6th man-up goal of the year. Now that they're now 50% on the season, and a much-needed response for the Terriers after Navy had a very strong start to the game, possessing for about 3.5 minutes.
Second assist of the season for Dearth, who's haven't played much this season with the injury. This is only a 3rd game of the year.
Yeah, Joe Morello out there on the faceoff for just the 5th time this season against Talco. And Sam Talco wins his 2nd straight. And the Terrier offense will get another opportunity. BU at 3-1 on the season, coming off that 16-10 loss against Hartford as Wilson lost it, jarred free from behind. Guess who? Chris Finnell there, the Patriot League Defender of the Year last year and an All-American. Transition opportunity, and what a shot from Matt Reese. Navy back up by 1. The long pull, scoring his 3rd goal this season.
Yeah, and we talked about the defense in Navy. They're lethal on offense, too, at times. Matt Reese, very strong long stick midfielder, junior, out of Skyville, Maryland. Boys Latin brothers on the team. Kasey Reese, a midfielder, a sophomore. And it's just one of those goals coming off of a turnover that we saw BU allowing those kind of goals against Hartford, so that's definitely a concern for the Terriers going forward in this game.
Played about 5.5 minutes, and 16th ranked Navy goes back up. Matt Reese, 2nd team All-Patriot League last year. Dove back out there for the face-off against Talco, and Talco's won a 3rd straight. With speed, and he just throws it over Burr. Another costly turnover for BU.
Sometimes when Talco wins these face-offs, he loves to come running up the wing and be aggressive and trying to get a shot or a pass off. Right there, it seemed to be a little too much energy. Sometimes he seems a bit agitated after a goal or a face-off right after a goal from the opposing team, and there's just a little too much frustration.
Touch here for John Connors. Doesn't have a save yet. He's only had 1 shot come his way. John Connors, senior now, is 3rd year as the starting keeper for the Mids. Patriot League Goalie of the Week. Chris Finnell is a Patriot League Defender of the Week, as Navy had that dominant 5-1 performance over Delaware. We've seen a pretty methodical offensive approach so far from Navy. Long bouts of possession. They're doing it again here. They've retaken the lead. Matt Reese, the defender, getting his 3rd goal of the year. Back for Kina, watched by Callisto. Train now possessing. Trying to work around Zabrowski. Train will slow up. Plays it back. Wendel holding, takes a shot, saved Carson-Banister, got him in the body. Loose ball will be picked up by Navy. It's TJ Hanchy there, who has now started 40 consecutive games for the Mids.
Hanchy's really a key on the offense for Navy, and he struggled a bit this season before. Actually, last game when Navy scored only 5 goals, he scored 2 of them, kind of broke out this season.
Last year, Hanchy was their 2nd leading scorer with 33 points. Kino was fought off, given back out for Grayson Terrain. He'll take the long shot and missed it high. Ray turns, fires left. And she has it to re-trigger the offense. Quentin Germain defending him in close. Hanchy, not a big guy at 5'8", 174. Gives it back out now. This is Kasey Reese, the younger brother of Matt Reese, who scored the latest goal for Navy. Shot from Wendel. Just missed wide right again.
Navy's attempting shots when they have a little bit of space. They're just trying to get everything off.
Navy's taken about 13 shots. They average 34 per game, which is towards the bottom of the Patriot League. Kasey Reese winds up, skips it in. And it's 3-1 Navy.
And we've seen a few times this year, too, when Carson-Banister has to face the long shots. Sometimes those bound shots get him a little bit more. And Navy obviously doing their research on how Wendel gets on the board, the 3-1 lead for the midshipmen.
So a 3-1 lead for Navy. The Reese brothers have teamed up for the last 2 goals. Older brother Matt and then younger brother Kasey has opened it up to a 2-goal game. Sam Talco has won 3 straight face-offs, but the Terriers have not been able to take advantage. 7:07 to go in this first quarter. This is one of 4 games kicking off Patriot League opening weekend. Colgate is at Bucknell. Bison had an early lead there. Lehigh hosting Holy Cross. Lehigh was up 4-3 at last check, and still to come Loyola and Lafayette. BU will take a timeout after gaining possession with 6:54 to go. Have not been in 7 years, and they were national runner-up in 2009 as well. Best finish they've had in the NCAA tournament.
The Patriot League is so competitive, so even teams like Navy that you'd expect to be there, it's difficult to be. You have Loyola, who joined a conference a few years ago. They won a national title. And another turnover here for BU, which right after a timeout, it's definitely not a good sign.
Another pass thrown away. And Navy's a team that will force you into turnovers, but so far, the mids haven't had to do too much defensively. BU sort of gift wrapped them plenty of opportunities as Terrain gains the midline, and Navy will go back on offense. Already up 3-1, and unless Carson-Banister can hold on to a save, there's really nothing stopping Navy from hanging onto the ball for long bouts of time.
And BU is a young team, so you expect to see some stuff like this from them, such as the turnover, the save made by Carson-Banister, which is huge in this situation. But after a few games where this has been an issue, you'd expect it to be resolved somewhat.
He makes his 3rd save there, much needed for the Terriers. Carried forward there by Holmeyer, played back for Hayden Ruiz. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists this season. Ruiz lets the Terriers sub in some new players, and now Pat Myers controlling.
And that's the first clear attempt that's been good by BU in this game. The first time they've been able to accomplish it, they're 1 for 3, which that's not a great statistic, but at least they finally got one over midfield. Navy 3 for 3 on their clear attempts.
Greg Ferris pressured outside by the defensive DJ Plumer, receives the pass back now from Burr and relays it on over to Myers. Back behind the cage for Adam Shawl, still looking for his first point this season. Bit of a surprise there after he had 35 points a year ago. Ferris now back behind, ball knocked free after Schaal couldn't corral it. Now kicked by Ferris, and he can't keep it in play. Navy will take over, another BU turnover. Oh,
like BU's going to keep possession.
There's a foul way back in the middle of the field towards midfield. So BU will go man up.
Second penalty of the game against Navy, and that's kind of a bit of lack of poise from a midshipman team that should be able to take advantage of a young BU team that's making their own mistakes. Navy kind of letting them hang around with mistakes like this. And Ryan Johnston into the game now is one of the extra man opportunity specialists for the Terriers.
30-second penalty against Navy. BU 1 for 1 today. And they've got the same crew out there to attack this one, except for Ryan Johnston. New addition. He scored twice on man-up opportunities. Ball free here. Tenney will get it. Still being pressured by Jules Godino. He finds Johnston. Back to Holmeyer. Not much time left on the man-up. Johnson, look at that shot. Goes back over his body and flicks it past Connors to make it a 1-goal game.
That's one of those goals you'd expect to see from an indoor lacrosse player. In tight switching hands and just finding any open space and taking advantage of it. And that's the value of someone like Johnson on his team. He doesn't get much playing time, but when he does, he takes advantage of it. And that's why he's a big part of this power play unit. He has 3 points on the year now, 2 goals, both on the extra man opportunity.
So for how much the Terriers have struggled taking care of the ball, they've been given 2 man-up opportunities, and they've taken advantage both times. Just a 1-goal game, despite the sense that Navy has outplayed them through this first quarter thus far.
BU has to be happy with the score right now with the way that they've played, and now get a possession here on a violation on the face-off from Brady Dove.
Talco, his shot was well off to the left, off the face-off. Holmeyer picks up an assist on that goal from Johnson, and the Terriers have a chance to tie. Dearth has some space, shoots just wide. Dearth bidding for his first goal of the year, and a good rip coming down the right wing.
How strange does that sound at its 5th game of the season, and Cal Dearth hasn't got on the scoreboard yet? It's been injuries, but it's just weird to hear.
He missed the last 2 games. Can't handle the pass here. He's nudged by Plumer, able to absorb the contact and pick the ball back up. Shawl from behind. Watched closely by Hiram Carter. Terriers will jog it back out now and take their time. 3:35 to go in the first. Dearth. Back over for Wilson. Wilson spin, stick jarred free, and it's taken back. Navy forward in a hurry. Keena has to slow up. Coming back was that long stick. Coming forward there was Henry Lee for BU.
You can see in a play like that, with Jack Wilson losing a stick, that that's Chris Finnell being one of the best defenders in the nation.
2:45 to go. Navy has led by as many as 2. There's Ray Wardell, tallest player on the field at 6'5", sophomore out of Babylon, New York. Now ball knocked free of Spencer Coyle. Wozniak on over to the loose ball, has Keena right on him. Wozniak has it, and he'll run away to a little bit of space. Wozniak with his 14th ground ball, second most on the team.
Wozniak third in the nation with caused turnovers of 8, and Terrier team 44 caused turnovers going into this game, led the country. Something that this defense has really been a big part in creating transition for the BU offense if they don't turn it over and hold on to it.
So BU with a couple good defensive possessions now, a save by Carson-Banister, and then the caused turnover. And Terriers get another chance to tie the game as we come down to the final couple minutes of the first quarter. BU has goals both on the man-up offense from Wilson and Johnston.
Navy allowing those opportunities for BU because other than those 2 extra man chances, they haven't really been able to set up much of an offense without turning it over before getting a shot off.
You've seen the Navy defense very smart. They're not overly aggressive as the shot well high on the outside. Came from Greg Ferris. When Terriers try to get in close, Navy quick to use the body, and they've been able to jar a couple balls free. Myers had a step there. Myers doubled there by Plumer and Matt Reese. Loose ball still free. It'll be picked up by Plumer. Forced turnover, tag teaming Plumer and Reese. And Navy will see if they try to hold for the last possession.
Once again, BU not able to get off even an offensive chance while they have possession. Interesting to see Pat Myers in the midfield there. We've more accustomed to seeing him work attack, especially at the X behind the net. Last game he started and played primarily there.
Kasey Reese scored the 3rd goal for Navy. Over to Hanshee. There's a flag away from the play off to the right of your screen. Coming forward, making the run there was Wendel. He'll back off. There you see the flag sitting back towards midfield, so delayed penalty coming on the Terriers. Back out to Rain. Right along the turf, save Carson-Banister. Ball popped outside the crease, and Carson-Banister has it. And that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. Navy was strong offensively, but the Terriers take advantage of the man-up opportunities. It's 3-2, Mids over Terriers on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Back at Nickerson Field, Navy to go man-up to begin this second quarter. An offsides penalty against the Terriers right at the end. Navy just 1 of 8 extra man this season. Terrier defense on killing penalties has been 7 of 8. So matchup seems to favor BU. Keena fed across, looking for Reese, and he scores. His second goal of the game, and Kasey Reese makes it a 2-goal game once again.
Now every extra man opportunity in this game has resulted in a goal.
So 4-2 for Navy as Kasey Reese nets his 3rd goal of the year. He had just 1 goal coming in, but he had taken 16 shots, the second most on the team. Navy now has 16 total shots in the game so far. They've outshot BU 16-6. As Reese scores 21 seconds into the second quarter.
And Patrick Hanna with his 3rd assist of the season on that goal. And we've seen some really nice settled offenses in this game for BU and Navy on the extra man opportunity. Just real crisp, clean passing that's resulting in these goals.
Morello gets the face-off win for Navy. Navy now 2 of 7 on face-offs. Terriers have won that battle. Hasn't mattered too much though. Comes to Hiram Carter as Navy looks to get the ball forward. And getting it forward there is Terrain. Back for Kasey Reese, who's been a large part of the offense. A lot of possession in addition to those 2 goals. There's Wendel, senior from East Islip, New York. Now TJ Hanshey had 20 goals a year ago. A couple spin moves, but BU defense right there. Jack Beal watching him closely. Now it's Wozniak defensively for BU as it goes back out for Kasey Reese. Terrain gets by 1. Fed back over for Reese. Still a good ways away from goal, fighting his way forward, gets doubled a bit. BU defense switches. Now Keena defended by Callisto. Fed across to the far side. Wendel defended by Brian Badgett. Keena holding, Callisto right behind Carson-Banister. Letting Keena just chill there. Fed back out for Reese. Thought he lost the ball, but he does have it in the pocket. And out to Rain.
See Navy's offense slowly closing in towards net, creating kind of less space for themselves, but also getting closer to the crease.
Keena knocked down behind by Beal. We play on. Reese, shot clock on, and he takes a shot, missed it left. 26 on the shot clock now. Condense the field a little bit. Keena goes one-on-one against Callisto. Fed back out. Wendel and now Terrain. Sidestep shot and scores. No save. Carson-Banister right at his foot somehow made that stop.
The difficult save to make, especially on a bounce, is like a first baseman playing a short hop.
So a long offensive possession for Navy, and the BU defense able to hang on. Matt Reese jars it free, and Navy takes over. And you've seen the strong Navy defense, why they're one of the best in the country so far already. Numerous Terrier turnovers and several caused turnovers for the Mids.
Yeah, the team like BU that turns the ball over so much and just is kind of sloppy with the ball on offense, period. You're facing a team like Navy that's just so strong in causing turnovers and just not allowing many opportunities. It's not a great recipe for the Terriers, but they've already exceeded Delaware's goal total from last week.
BU doubles, ball knocked free. It's possessed by Jack Ray. Still a big scramble for it near the restraining line, pushed forward by Winkoff. Up into the air, and now some space there. Spencer Coyle looked to have it, but Winkoff closes in on him, out of bounds, and they'll give possession to the Mids.
Bit of a rugby scrum in a lacrosse game.
So Navy stays on the offensive. They won last year's meeting 14-6, and the meeting 2 years ago 13-7 on this field. Both those games were close in the first half, and then Navy eventually pulling away in the second. Keena had some room there, but Callisto recovers. Keena chilling.
BU is really allowing players behind the net to just kind of hold on to the ball and not really trying to stop them creating passes more in front of the net.
Floundlacker left it off for Hanshy, who wanted to take a shot, but the defense from Callisto prevented that. Now Ray comes back along with Hanshy. Coyle leaves it off for Wardell, and his rifling shot missed high and left. Sophomore Jack Ray will be defended by Germain. To re-trigger the offense, Wozniak comes over for help. Hanshy, little stutter step, and backs off. Played almost 5 minutes second quarter. Navy has scored once. Kasey Reese with the second of the game as Wardell lost it. No one immediately nearby. He's got time to recover. Hanshy defended by Winkoff. Wardell holding. Keena splits the double, fed in front, and Ray didn't have the ball before taking the shot. Was going to be all alone against Carson-Banister, and Wozniak takes the loose ball.
It was Dominic Callisto and I believe Alan Winkoff who really doubled in and created a pressure that prevented a clean pass in front.
The Terriers will get the clear. They're now 4 of 6 after they missed their first 2, so they've cleared 4 in a row now. BU does not have an even strength goal thus far. Both goals coming in man-up opportunities, Jack Wilson and Ryan Johnston. This is Dearth, had a little space, feeds across, Wilson, fed back out, Burr the shot over the bar.
A little bit of space there for the Terrier offense to work with. Haven't really seen that yet.
Wilson will trot back to the outside. See if the Terriers just want to get a rhythm established here after they have not had much time on even strength offense. Dearth goes over to Homeyer. He's watched closely by Matt Reese. Homeyer has a lot of assists this season, 8 to lead the team, and one of the best freshmen in the country in that regard as well. Dearth will take the little room, feeds behind, Shawl. He's pushed away. Godino closely with him there. Shawl running out of space though, and he's just able to get it off to Sam Tenney. Tenney using the left hand, shielding away John Traynor. Tenney behind for Burr. Burr back out. Shawl has it along the turf. Back out. Dearth absorbs some pressure, maintains the ball. Back behind Shaw. Tears it possessed for well over a minute now.
Only that one shot opportunity though.
Homeyer. Traynor fell down. And ball is picked up by DJ Plumer. BU was trying to feed the crease. Another difficult pass that the Terriers cannot connect on.
Homeyer was trying to find Burr, who was on the crease, but it was a bad pass and it got past him.
The Terrier offense comes up empty. But Carson-Banister and the BU defense has done a solid job thus far, held Navy to just these 4 goals despite being on defense for a good portion of the first half. Reese comes in, and that one just over the bar. Good velocity on that shot, though, as he got by Wozniak.
He had room to keep going, just kind of peels in along that wing. Not much resistance from the BU defense.
Under 7 to play before halftime. Wendel away from outside, but defended closely. Got by Holmeyer, fed behind for Hanchey. Reese fed over, looking for terrain, and it's knocked away. It'll go to the Terriers after Hanchey inadvertently deflected it on the end line. BU gets the clear, coming forward. The shot will go back to Navy after it was deflected. That was Henry Lee, the long stick midi, taking the shot. It was deflected, and Navy was closest to the back line.
BU trying to create a bit of transition. They've struggled with that a little bit. They've done a lot more when they've been able to settle their offense.
Navy coming forward with a little bit of speed, and Matt Reese will now make the pass to his brother and then head off onto the other side of center. Tightly played first half. Terriers have not had much offensively. Defense has kept them in it. Reese on over to terrain. Keena marked by Callisto as he has all game. Keena doubled now. Lee coming over. And Keena able to evade both. Get some space. Back out. Reese. Big windup. Shot deflected. Connor Oakman defensively for the Terriers. Wozniak has the ground ball.
Oakman hasn't seen that much time this season, but when he's been in there, he's been strong on defense.
Wozniak ran right into Matt Reese. Still coming forward, though. Fed across. Wilson. And now he'll run away from Patriot League player, defender of the year last year and an All-American, and Chris Finnell. Finnell was a USILA third-team All-American. Terriers have scored 10 goals per game coming in, 4th best in the Patriot League. Just 2 in this first half against the 8th best defense in terms of scoring in the mids. They allowed just over 6 goals per game in their first 3. Ruiz fed over. Shawl back out wide, some space for Ferris, and he shoots just wide left.
Adam Shawl working attack a little bit more in this game, I think, because Cal Dearth is back in the midfield. They still want Shawl to have the opportunity out there. Sam Tenney, they've moved back to the midfield as this game's gone on.
Shawl from behind. Ruiz shoots wide again. It's a Terrier team that's only taken 9 shots now to Navy's 23. I wonder if they're going to try to pick up the tempo a little bit and challenge a goalkeeper in John Connors, who does not have a registered save. Terriers' only 2 shots on goal are their 2 that they've scored. Byrd turning around, skips up off the bar, and it comes back out to Myers. That caught the far post.
This is one of the more organized possessions we've seen from the Terrier so far.
Ferris had a little step there on terrain. He goes behind to the X for Shaw. Shaw emerges from behind. His pass, though, deflected. That looked like Matt Reese with his long stick who deflected the pass, and now Reese has it. Flying forward in transition. Keena to Hanchey. And they'll set up. Hanchey, couple spin moves, looking to get by Wozniak. 3 minutes to play. Wendel defended by Badgett. Navy would love to get a goal here before halftime. They've done a great job defensively, as they have really all season. They just have the 4 goals to show for it. The offense has had good possession, good movement.
BU has struggled in first half scoring this season with 16 goals in the first half compared to 24 in the second half as well. So that's something we could see a halftime adjustment, but Navy's defense has been strong. And also, the Terriers continue to pass into traffic and turn the ball over. And some of that has been forced by Navy, but we've seen this team enough now to know that that's just something that this team does.
Coyle, haven't seen him too much involved in the offense. Getting a possession here. Back for Keena. Absorbing a stick check from Callisto. Now he'll jog back towards the back line with under 2 minutes left in the first half. Keena, couple spin. Step back to the right. Back over for Wendel. Trying to work by Badgett. Takes the shot. It's wide right. Jack Ray back there. Talented sophomore, has 6 goals and 1 assist this season. 18 shots coming in, led the team. Coyle with 5 seconds left. Stall warning is put on. Have to put it back out. Shot from Keena. Score. They wave it off. The stall warning clock was at 0 before the ball went into the back of the net, and a big break for BU.
Certainly saved by the clock there. That was an impressive shot from Keena, kind of shorthand with underhand three-quarter type of shot and got in past Carson-Banister. BU's lucky that didn't count.
So now just about a minute left for BU. See if they can make this a 1-goal game. Navy has not led by more than 2 goals. Dearth's pass is knocked away, taken away by Finnell.
Another pass into traffic.
And Navy turns it right back over. Finnell's pass, and BU turns it over again. Picked up by Terrain.
No one seems to want it.
35 seconds now. That's Plumer there. Now Keena, his shot high and wide. Navy's got it backed up, though. Hanshe's there. There's 29 seconds remaining, and now BU will take a timeout and try to keep this a 2-goal game.
It's a good timeout because on that previous shot from Plumer, it looked like BU's defense wasn't prepared at all for it. They were paused. They weren't going after him. It looked like there was a lot of confusion there on the defense after a series of 3 straight turnovers between the teams.
And before that, you had a goal from Patrick Keena that was waved off. Stall warning seemed to surprise everybody. Navy's a little frustrated. There wasn't really much of a signal. All of a sudden, you look up, and there were under 10 seconds left to shoot. And just a second difference, and we've got a 5-2 game if there's a second more on the clock. So the Terriers get a break, and they'll take as many as they can get. The offense has struggled. They've tried to make some gutsy passes, and I think at the same time you could say that Navy's done a good job putting themselves in those passing lanes, and BU's had a couple possessions. They've had it for a minute or so, and just kind of trying to get something going because Navy just kind of kept them around the periphery for the most part.
BU has to feel extremely lucky to be in this game still because they haven't played like a team that's down by just 2 goals. Let's not forget Navy is the 16th ranked team in the nation. They're one of the best teams in the country. And Navy's played well defensively. We've seen that out of them. But also last week when they won, they had a dominant performance on defense, allowing just 1 goal, and it was still just a 4-goal win. Navy, the team that lets teams kind of hang around a little bit. When they did not defeat Johns Hopkins, but they held in with him for a long time. That was a tight game. Navy plays a lot of tight, close games. That's how they want to play, but it's fortunate for BU that they have a chance to stay in this game and come back.
So pivotal 29 seconds before halftime. See the Terriers out there ready as Navy looks to break the huddle. Navy's got a tough start to the Patriot League schedule after BU today. They stay on the road, and they'll be at Bucknell next weekend, and then a couple weeks off before they'll host Loyola. BU will be the idle team next weekend. They'll play a non-conference game against Canisius before returning to play against Colgate. So restart, back underway. Final 25 seconds of the first half. There's Reese, who scored twice. Gets by Badgett. Goes behind, but throws it over Keena's head.
Badgett playing tight to Reese really caused a lot of pressure to create that turnover.
13 seconds for BU. Let's see what they do. A long pass ahead for Dearth. Dearth with a little bit of speed. Gets by Terrain. Dearth moving in with 5 seconds and scores! What a goal for Cal Dearth. Screaming down the middle of the field. It makes it a 1-goal game with just 4 seconds left before halftime.
Well, welcome back, Cal Dearth. His first goal of the season here in the 5th contest of the year. And now it's a 1-goal game with 4 seconds left in the half, and that's exactly the momentum swing the Terriers needed.
Dearth had missed the last 2 games with injury, and just his presence has really made this team a bit more confident today. A 1-goal game with 4 seconds left in the half. Dearth with his first of the year after he had 19 a year ago. And against Navy now, all time, he's got 5 goals and 3 assists. I get 4 assists with his assist on Wilson's goal earlier. He's performed well in these big games against the mids, and that will do it for the first half. A half where Navy plays better. They cause a lot of turnovers, but now all of a sudden a lot of fire for the Terriers, only down by 1 after that late goal. Step aside for halftime. Fun second half upcoming when we come back on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Just about to begin this second half from Nickerson Field. An interesting first half where we see Navy dominate defensively. Turnovers are 12-5. BU had 12. 8 of those were forced by the Navy defense, to no surprise of really anyone, but it's just a 1-goal game at halftime.
Like I said, going into the half, BU's fortunate that this is a 4-3 game because it feels like it could be a lot more. Not that Navy's playing, except I think Navy's made a few mistakes in this game as well, especially those penalties, that I felt like were kind of unforced. But BU's not playing its best game either. The goal from Calder is obviously a huge momentum swing. We'll see if they take advantage of that. The offense, I think, has been a little more settled than it has been in previous weeks. They found a little bit more space, especially on the last couple of possessions there in the first half. But this is a game that BU should be glad they're down by only 1 goal because it's the same mistakes we've been seeing all season, and I think they kind of peaked a little bit last week. I would have liked to see for this BU team a few of those issues to be resolved by now, but I felt like the end of the second quarter got a little bit better.
Navy doubled up BU in shots, 24-12. In goal, John Connors had 1 save, 3 goals allowed. And Christian Carson-Banister for the Terriers, 5 saves on 9 shots on goal from Navy. Ground balls 13-12 in favor of BU. And the Terriers had the edge in the face-off circle. They won 5 of 7. We've seen both Brady Dove and Joe Morello in there for Navy. Talco and Morello here. Talco tried to jar it free. Morello had it along the turf. Terriers get 3 players in there, but then it comes out for Matt Reese. Reese had it jarred free and recovers Drew Lucas from behind. Now Reese comes forward, has a chance, and shot it wide. Reese, a big guy at 6'5", 215, able to take a couple blows and keep on stumbling towards goal.
We saw him pick up a goal in the first half of this game.
Yeah, him and his brother Kasey responsible for 3 of the 4 goals for the Mids. Who start on offense again. They've possessed for what feels like 70-75% of the game. Wendel will go back onto the outside of that right wing. Comes over for Kasey Reese. Reese pushed back by Badgett. Goes over for Terrain. Back behind Ray. Trying to spin a little bit. Callisto matched up with him there. Ray stumbling in. Knocked down. Ball free. And picked up by the Terriers. Lucas to Badgett. Knocked free from behind. Ball free. Callisto had it for a moment. Hanshee there. Kicks it. Goes towards the out-of-bounds line. And it will go to the Terriers. Hanshee's effort diving there at the end to no avail. So almost another cause turnover there for the Mids. Beal will jog it. Here's Adam Shawl.
Shawl back in the midfield. We saw him working a bit on the attack in the first half.
Yeah, he worked from the X position.
Looks like he's going back there.
Yeah, he is jogging back there now as Dearth holds here. Scored his first goal of the season with 4 seconds left in the first half. Got the ball on a long pass from behind the BU goal. He got it around midfield on the near side and then sprinted all the way forward and was able to beat John Connors to give the Terriers a bit of momentum after they were previously held scoreless in the second. Shawl. Tenney quickly relayed behind. This is Wilson coming around from behind the cage. Got the long stick of Finnell there. Finnell has matched up against Wilson the whole game. Tenney the shot wide. Terriers have it backed up. You see Wilson and Finnell matched up again. Wilson had the goal, but that came on the man-up opportunity. Otherwise, Finnell has marked him well.
2 of the 3 goals for BU came on to man up. We saw a goal from Ryan Johnson as well and tight towards the net. Wilson, of course, finding underneath the crossbar. Only goal that didn't come on the extra man opportunity was a transition goal from Dearth.
Here's Burr. He's open, shooting and scoring. We're tied up at 4 on James Burr's 11th goal of the year.
And Bird's been hanging around that crease a few times in this game. We saw earlier Holmeyer miss him on the pass there. We saw Wilson trying to get to him earlier, and now Burr scored in every goal this season for the Terriers.
Set up by Ruiz, who almost didn't see him in time. Burr was standing there for a couple beats before Ruiz was able to turn and find him. And so good ball movement from the Terriers. And we're tied at 4, back-to-back goals now. Dearth at the end of the first half, and now James Burr, his 11th of the year.
Byrd, a freshman, leads the Terriers in scoring. He's been so huge for the Terriers offense that really has struggled to find an identity with Dearth being injured. Wilson slowed down a little bit with the injury that Dearth, who passes to him often, and now a turnover here. BU gets a possession.
We got a flag down way back in front of the Navy bench area. And this looks to go against BU. So the second man-up opportunity upcoming for Navy after they had the face-off win from Morello. And then the flag all the way back near the restraining line and in front of the Navy bench. So Navy's 1 for 1 on the man-up. This is Ray feeding it back out for Colin Floundlacker.
One-minute slashing penalty for Talco. We saw him take a couple of penalties last week against Hartford as well.
Keenan to Ray, outside, Floundlacker, fed around, Reese. Wendel, now Hanshy, back for Wendel. Floundlacker. Hanshy goes back for Wendel, and now Reese. Couple windups from Navy. Hanshy goes to Reese. He'll wind up and shoot it well over the bar. Terriers will get that sixth guy back in a couple moments. Floundlacker to Reese. Hanshy. Terriers getting that 6th player back out as Navy moves in and shooting it up over the bar off the turf was Ray. So Terriers able to escape after Navy closing in right there as the penalty expired. Mids with another long probing possession after the Terriers took their second penalty of the game. Both teams have taken 2. Now combined 3 of 4 on the man up. BU 2 for 2, Navy 1 of 2, as we're knotted at 4 goals apiece. Keena from behind, turning, shooting, save Carson-Banister, and able to find it in front.
Keena's taken a few off-angle shots now in his game. In his goal even, he kind of went underarm on the shot. We saw him take an interesting shot that got called back, actually, on a shot clock violation earlier in this game as well.
Here's Winkoff holding. Terriers making substitutions. Holmeyer possessing now. Few with a chance at their first lead of the game now. Scored 2 unanswered after Navy led 4-2. Here's Tenney matched up with Plumer. Tenney shoots and was blocked in front. It'll stay with BU after Ruiz tracks it down. Holmeyer defended here by Traynor. Holmeyer making a long run. We'll go to the X now. Shawl around for Tenney. Tenney steps in. Forced away by DJ Plumer. He was a high school teammate with both Dove and Floundlacker at Kent High School, all three from Stevensville, Maryland. Holmeyer doubled, back across, shooting, and just wide the shot from Wilson.
Little bit of space again for Wilson. We have sides of the crease. A few times we've seen Wilson and Burr left open.
Ruiz looking in front. Ball pushed back. It'll stay with the Terriers. That was Finnell who prevented that pass from even getting out in front of the crease. Terriers looking to take their time. They have not led. They've been down by 2 multiple times. Comes back here for Burr. Holmeyer defended by Reese. Goes behind for Shawl. Tenney, old jab step, moves in, shoots wide. Terriers have it backed up though with Wilson and Shawl. Reese unable to get the ball with his long pull. 8:20 to go, third quarter. Tight game between third-year program BU and 16th ranked Navy. Wilson trying to fight off the defense there from Carter. He'll defer to Shaw. Quickly relay it around. They find Burr. Burr has a step, winds up, shot it well wide. And who will they give it to? They'll give it to Navy. Diving effort there from Reese at the tail end. And so Navy will take over.
Burr was agitated there. He was doubled there on the shot, and he didn't get it off. It bounced wide, and Navy had the possession. But Burr was looking for a flag or something. It looked aggravated.
So maybe the longest possession of the game for the Terriers. They come up empty. If nothing else, gives the defense a rest. They've been very busy. Held Navy to just 4 goals. The Navy offense so far in just 3 games, averaging about 8.5 goals per game. Puts them at 8th out of 9 teams in the Patriot League, but they're able to score 11 against a stout team like Johns Hopkins. Only needed 5 to beat Delaware last Sunday. Navy creating some space as Wendel holds here. Ray looking behind. He'll hit up Keena. Here's Reese. He scored goals 3 and 4 for the Mids. Wendel has a step on Oakman. Gets help defense there from Wozniak. Fell down to the turf. Maintained possession, though. Nifty play from Kevin Wendel. Now Reese has a step. Help defense is there from Dominic Callisto. Or to Terrain, lost it, but good recovery. Now Lee trying to play catch-up defense. Now Hanchy, spin move around Oakman, goes back for Keena. Keena, jab step around the crease. Now to Hanchy, winds up, save Carson-Banister.
Last week, Carson-Banister didn't have the opportunity to make many saves in that game as a lot of defenders weren't around and hard for players were getting open. Bannister's had a strong game against Navy. His defense really helped him out a lot more, and he's had the opportunity to come up with these saves.
Give him 8 saves in the game now. Carson-Banister had a great year last year, going 6-6, but allowed less than 9 goals per game, a save percentage at 56%. He is a big reason why this is a 4-4 game. Good crowd on hand here in Nickerson Field. Very sunny afternoon, although chilly. Temperatures around 40 degrees and a rare sight along the Charles River. Not much wind to speak of. Shot there from Myers, well off.
Just like Myers and Shawl have kind of reversed positions in this game.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Myers working out of the X, and Shaw's worked out of there exclusively this afternoon. 4-4 game. Previous two meetings, Navy scored 14 goals and 13 goals to just 6 and 7 for VU in those contests. Ferris was trying to go right at Traynor. Loose ball, Rue uses a screen, and that allows Myers to pick it up. But he's forced all the way out towards midfield. Able to jog it back in. Now Tristan Rue, haven't really seen him much today. Gets man off his feet, finds Shaw. Terriers looking to stay in front of the defense. Wilson lost it, Burr there to pick it up. Quick passing out of Shaw. Shaw back out wide. Big wind up Ferris. Now we'll look and run. His shot jarred free by Finnell. Backing up the play though, Myers. Wilson winds up, spin move around Carter, moves in and scores! Terriers have their first lead of the game. It's Wilson for the second time today.
Difficult shot from Wilson as he comes running in and really created his own space on that goal. He just willed that whole opportunity by himself, and now the Terriers have the lead for the first time in this game. 3
unanswered goals from the Terriers, and that one just snuck inside the near post. And with 4:07 to play, Terrier bench and fans fired up. BU has the 1-goal advantage over the number 16 team in the country.
And a lot has to be said for the defense in this game, too, to be able to hold a team like Navy to just 4 goals so far in this game to allow the offense that opportunity. And since Dearth came streaking down the field and scored with only 4 seconds left in the first half, this Terrier offense has really been able to settle itself down.
BU has lost the last 2 face-offs to the mids. Joe Morello has come in and done a nice job. Big tie-up, though. This is Elliot Burr in there for the Terriers, taking his first face-off instead of Talco. Ball just not coming free, though. Morello and Burr jockeying for a position on the outside. Beal and Lucas there, and you've also got Grayson Terrain wearing 6 for Navy.
About as long of a face-off battle as I think I've ever seen.
Both benches fired up, and they give possession to the Terriers. Infraction against Morello. Terriers recently took their first lead of the game. Now will look to add to it. They trailed 4-2 for almost the entirety of the second quarter until a late goal from Dearth. They have goals from James Burr and Jack Wilson in the third quarter to take the lead. Cal Dearth doubled, navigates around Finnell. Dearth fed across, Wilson delays and scores! A hat trick for Jack Wilson. It's a 2-goal lead.
The Navy defense looked a little unsettled there, a bit of some confusion around there. John Connors actually left a whole half of the net wide open. It seemed like there was an opportunity to shoot. Instead, goes to Wilson, and he dodges in and scores the 2-goal lead.
Well, I think what we saw there is what Dearth had it on the far side. Navy went for the double. A quick spin move from Dearth, and suddenly Navy was a little bit out of position defensively. And one of the things BU has done a nice job is when the double has come, they passed out of it well, and they've moved the ball quickly. And now the Terriers really feeling it excited, up 6-4.
I think a lot of what you're talking about, too, just has to do with Dearth being back in his offense. He's such a great facilitator there, and we see why.
And quick passing out of the faceoff, another win for Burr. Zabrowski feeds it off, and the Terriers will slow up. Wilson will jog it out. Finnell back there marked up with him. Every time Wilson has scored, though, we had a man up one early on. In these last 2, they've gotten the defense a little bit unsettled when Finnell is not matched up with them one-on-one.
And it does have to do with Dearth being a part of this offense. And we saw last season he and Wilson work so well together.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Wilson has scored the last two. Go back for Homeyer. Now Tenney. Match up with Plumer. Tenney goes back for Homeyer. After a screen, it's Finnell matched up with Homeyer there. Gives it off for Dearth. Got a step by Traynor. Goes behind the cage. Passing around. Finnell deflected it. And it's Plumer picking it up. Now we got a flag coming. So Navy about to go man up. Next time Terriers touch up on the ball. Under 90 seconds to go in the quarter. Flag all the way back on the other side of midfield.
There's quite a bit of space in the middle of the field there for Navy. Weren't able to quite find it.
There are actually two flags on the field. One all the way even further into the Terrier offensive end of the field. So wait to get those as we're under a minute left. Coming around, Keena scores! Gets one back for Navy. First goal since the early moments of the second quarter for the Mids, and it's a one-goal game again.
Looked quite a bit like Keena's other goal earlier in this game when he came around from behind the net, didn't really have anyone on him, and just has an open shot on Carson-Banister.
Keena gets his second goal today.
7th on the season for Keena.
Terriers will be shorthanded after those penalties.
It's going to be a 1-minute slashing call on Sam Tenney.
So BU will be shorthanded for the remaining minute. They'll have to go 2-on-3 for the face-off. Burr will take his third face-off in a row. So Navy with a golden opportunity to make this game tied once again after the Terriers had seized all momentum. This time it's Dove back out there for Navy. Burr will pick it up. Burr running away, dropped it off though, went right into the pocket of Ray. Now the Terriers need to scamper back defensively. Burr was just trying to buy time. That one might have been deflected when he was trying to make the pass back.
Bad turnover for the Terriers now as Navy has an opportunity to settle its offense here with 30 seconds or so left in the third quarter.
And a couple extra seconds carry over into the fourth. If they don't score here, Navy 1 of 2 on the man up. Wendel shoots. Save Carson-Banister. Comes all the way back out in front. Picked up by Wozniak. Wozniak will come forward. Still holding. Wozniak with 3. Thrown in front. They score with 1 second left. Adam Shawl with his first point this season, and BU goes back up by 2.
Well-timed first goal of the season for Adam Shawl, who's been working at the attack all game. He's at kind of James Burr territory, working the side of the crease, and he's right there with a second left in the third quarter, and BU goes up by 2 again.
A short-handed goal for the Terriers, who have broken out in this third quarter. They've scored 4 times to lead by 2.
First assist of the season for Greg Wozniak, a defender. Not the first time we've seen him get involved in the offense, though, as he has a goal this season, and a few times he's gone down the field on transition.
So we'll have a face-off with 1 second left. BU will be short-handed for about 6 more seconds to start the fourth. So that'll do it for the third. A quarter that sees BU score 4 out of the 5 goals in that quarter. 2 from Wilson, another from James Burr, and Adam Shawl right there at the end. Fourth quarter when we come back on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Set to begin the fourth quarter at Nickerson Field in Boston. A 7-5 lead. BU on top of 16th ranked Navy. Elliot Burr has taken all the faceoffs in this second half for BU, and he will stay out there again against Brady Dove. Burr flicks it away, but the Terriers are still short-handed to start this fourth quarter, and now they're back to even strength. So Navy will possess to start the fourth. Terriers got 4 goals in that third quarter, including Adam Shawl with his first point of any kind this season with 1 second left after Wozniak created a turnover and ran all the way down the field to set him up.
Shawl and Dearth, who are both big parts of the offense last season, both getting their first goals of the year 5 games in.
The return of Cal Dearth has been a welcome sign for BU. Wendel goes behind for Keena. Back out in front. Hanchey behind the back. Save Bannister. What a move from TJ Hanchey. Bannister able to track it down That shot in traffic.
Not much space to work with there, and Hanshi showing off some moves there.
Wendel forces the turnover as Winkoff could not escape him. That is the 11th caused turnover from the mids today. BU as a team with 14 turnovers. Early on they were unforced, but now they've settled down. Navy has been that good defensively.
And we've seen Navy do that before. Their strength is their defense, led by Finnell, so it's not terribly surprising.
Reese airmails it. Keena for Reese, and he scores. A hat trick for Kasey Reese, and a one-goal game.
Reese shooting around the BU defense, and not sure Carson-Banister really saw that shot. It's a one-goal game again. First goal of the fourth quarter goes to Navy, and that's huge for them to not continue to give BU momentum. The biggest lead of the game for BU so far has been 2 goals.
Kasey Reese had just 1 goal coming in. Now he's got 3. So Navy takes advantage after the caused turnover from Wendel. So all kinds of time as Talco's back in there, this time against Morello. Ball comes free. Navy's got a little bit of space there. If Reese can pick it up, and he does. Matt Reese has done a great job defensively, while his brother Kasey has provided half of the offense for Navy. So the mids now with a chance to tie. Giving back up now, Spencer Coyle. A little bit of a different look here offensively. Plumer was out there. Now you see him. He's the one jogging off to the left. So Plumer will sub out. And coming in will be Ray Wardell. Wardell. Now Keena, marked by Callisto. Floundlacker defended by Zabrowski, but his pass intercepted.
Trying to find Hanshi, it looks like, in front of the crease.
It's Wozniak who tracked it down. Out controlled by Ruiz. There's Zabrowski. Hasn't got much to look today offensively. And then he'll get some space. In the fourth quarter, Terriers lead by 1. 2-goal lead for Navy for much of the first half. Terriers got a goal in the final minute of the second quarter, making a 1-goal game at halftime. Scored 4 out of the 5 goals in the third, and then Navy with a quick one here. Dearth, quick pass in across. Burr winds up, missed it high.
Finding Burr once again, who's had a lot more space than you'd think the leading goal scorer of a team would have. Misses a little bit wide as he was aiming right under the crossbar.
Navy's put their best defender, Chris Finnell, on Jack Wilson. As Tenney shoots an easy save for Connors, just his 4th save. The rebound squirts back into the middle, still loose. No one knew where it was for a moment. Shawl gives a shove there against the defense of Carter. Still free, goes out of play. It'll be Navy ball.
Good effort from the BU offense, fighting for that to keep possession. It's good to see. Indiana Navy gets possession and had the chance to tie it back up.
A strange scenario where there was a brief moment where no one knew where the ball was, despite 8 people in the area. Navy has another opportunity to tie. EJ Plumer holding here. Train's been quiet offensively, but he was a big recruit for Navy. He also considered offers from Duke, Maryland, Towson, and UMBC. Wendel goes back out. It's relayed over for Terrain. Now to Reese. Wendel goes behind Keena. Back out for Reese. Squares up, moves in. Reese charging, goes back behind for Ray. Back around, wind up from Keena was deflected as it was not close to the goal, but backed up by Navy. Kasey Reese was there.
Not the highest quality shot attempt. It's blocked away.
Stutter step from Hanchy. Uses a screen from Reese. Cannot work by Connor Oakman. Instead, gives it back out. Wendel spinning away from Badgett. Bounce shot. And it skips away. Bannister got a piece of it. A really cheeky, surprising shot that took a bounce out in front of the crease. Now Ray flipped across. Look for Hanchy, and he scores along the turf. And we're tied up once again as TJ Hanchy scores. A very impressive-looking goal there from the senior.
It's a strong goal for Hanchy there. Like we said earlier in this broadcast, Hanchy really struggled early on this season for Navy, even though he's one of their offensive leaders. He scored 2 goals last week in a 5-goal effort against Delaware. It's his 3rd goal of the season now. But really, he's one of the most important parts of that offense, and see why with a shot like that.
Got a little bit of space and just got it on the inside of the far post. Knotted up at 7 after Navy had scored twice to start the 4th. Kasey Reese and TJ Hanchy. And Navy will go on offense again following the face-off win. Give an assist to Wendel on that last goal as well. Right now, Navy looking like a team laden with seniors, 15 of them very calm after BU had seized a lot of momentum in that 3rd quarter, and suddenly we're tied once again. Train with a run here. Terrain defers for Reese. He shoots well over the bar. Navy with a chance to retake the lead after it was taken from them in the 3rd. It's Wendel giving it back out. Reese and out of Terrain. Reese probing on that right side again. He's shown he likes to go right. Keena, couple spin moves, trying to get free of Callisto. Fed across, open look. Hanchy scores! Back-to-back goals for the senior Hanchy, and Navy has the lead.
Keena really beat Callisto there, which we haven't really seen a lot of this season. Callisto has been so strong against the leading scorers of other teams, but Keena beats him from around the X and finds Hanchy, and Navy takes the lead again.
3 unanswered goals from the mids prompts a Terrier timeout with 8:30 to go in the 4th. We'll be right back here on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Crucial face-off upcoming. It's Talco against Morello. Navy has scored 3 goals to start the 4th, 1 from Kasey Reese, and back-to-back goals from TJ Hanchy. They lead by 1 now after the Terriers had a 2-goal lead entering the quarter. And Talco with a rare face-off infraction. Navy will take over again on offense.
Navy with an opportunity to go back up by 2. It's the biggest lead they've had in this game. It's been a 2-goal lead. Same for BU when they've led in this game.
Great game in the first weekend of Patriot League play. Reese, Terrain with some room, and he sneaks it into the top right corner. What an impressive showing from the mids in this 4th quarter. Terrain with limited space there, sneaks it in top shelf. And Navy with all kinds of momentum now.
A ball had eyes, I feel like, because it looked like Carson-Banister. It looked like it was going to go right into his stick. He reached across the crease and had it right there, right under the crossbar, but it sneaks in.
Terrain had been very quiet today after coming in with 5 goals. Now he's got 6 on the year. And Navy is moving the ball a little bit better. I wonder if Terrier defense a little bit tired. They really had to play a lot in the first half.
That's definitely the concern when a team allows its opponent so much possession time early on.
Talco gets to that one. Talco will bring it forward, looking to stay out there. Talco absorbs some contact. He's fought off, though, by Godino. And threw it away. second unforced error from Sam Talco today. And now the Terriers in danger of letting this game start to get away if they can't get a stop here.
Second turnover again from Talco, and again kind of in the same way. Following a face-off, gets possession and just throws it away.
So Navy has scored 4 unanswered, and now they're looking to add to it. Sideline as fired up as it's been all afternoon for the Mids. Here's Wendel. On over, Reese scored 3. Threw it behind Wendel. Didn't realize it was not in the pocket, but he's able to recover. Hanchy probing. Fought off by Callisto. Now Terrain. 6.5 to play. Terrain back over for Reese. Now behind. This is Keena. Watched by Callisto. Wendel. Pushed back by Badgett. Ball free. Badgett picks it up. Transition opportunity for BU. Badgett will give it up for Burr. Terriers in desperate need of a goal now with Navy rolling here in the fourth. The start of the fourth quarter was the problem for BU last week. It was a 2-goal game against Hartford. BU was trailing, and then the Hawks just went on a tear to start the fourth quarter, and the game was put out of reach. Navy has scored 4 unanswered after BU scored 4 of the 5 goals in the third quarter.
We saw in week 1, BU almost let Providence come back too, allowing 4 goals in the fourth quarter.
Homeyer back onto the outside for Tenney. Tenney knocked away by Plumer, but he's got some room. 5:15 to play now. Each team with 1 timeout. Quickly relayed for Dearth. Dearth draws a double team. Back for Shawl. Shawl pushed away by Godino. Gives it back up for Cal Dearth. Homeyer creeps in. Looking. Works around Traynor. Has to give it up towards Tenney. Tenney flicks it back into traffic. Picked up by Finnell. Terriers with a costly turnover.
Homeyer looked surprised to be doubled there and didn't know how to handle it and loses the ball.
Terriers with their 17th turnover. Now Hanchy fed across. Keena lost it. Didn't look that ball all the way into the stick.
Keena didn't have anyone on him. That would have been a wide open shot opportunity.
Callisto had it knocked free and is able to pick it back up. BU forces the 10th Navy turnover, but that's really been the difference. 17 turnovers versus 10. Here's Hayden Ruiz, under 4 to play. Terriers led 7-5 entering the fourth, but goals from Kasey Reese, 2 from TJ Hanchy, and another from Grayson Terrain have propelled Navy back in front. Terrier looking to find that offense that they found in the third quarter. Myers to Ruiz, goes behind for Shawl, able to handle that pass. Burr trying the one-timer and whiffed. Godino takes it over.
Last week that was an issue for Burr losing the ball, and in this case in the game, I know the Terriers down by 2 want to get on the board quickly to tie the game up and eventually take the lead, but it's more about having poised possessions and being in control and organized and rushing shots, which is how they've turned the ball over so much to begin with.
This is a BU team that has been close like they are now to sort of trademark wins for a young program, and forcing a near turnover there, right along the sideline. And possession will go to BU, so they've got an opportunity looking to go in transition now. Play restarts with Homeyer. He finds Ruiz.
The possession where they need a sense of urgency, but they also have to just be in control.
2:35 to go. Myers matched up with Plumer. Has a step. Dumps it off. Burr along the turf. What a save from John Connors.
Dangerous to pass it to Burr there. He gets a shot off through traffic. Huge save by Connors to come up with it low.
A shot, if you're BU, you're probably okay with, as Terriers will get it back here. Connors with his best save of the afternoon, though. It's number 5 for Connors. Navy's given BU life, though. It's back-to-back turnovers for the Mids, a team that has taken care of it up until this point. Here's Dearth. He'll jog to the X position. Dearth comes forward. Fed back out. Burr scores! There is life for BU. James Burr scores for the second time.
Dearth found Burr once again. It feels like Navy has not focused very much on Burr at all. A few times in this game he's been open. He's a little further back into midfield than we're used to seeing him at, but nice shot, and he gets it past Connors, and it's a 1-goal game again.
Biggest face-off of the game with 1:39 to go. Burr now with 12 goals on the year. It will be Talco against Morello. Talco is 6 of 12. Morello is 5 of 9. And the Terriers get it. In transition, BU has to slow up after Wilson received the pass from Lee. Wilson plays it safe, even though the Terriers had some numbers. BU has a timeout, isn't using it at the moment. 70 seconds to go.
Talco still out on offense.
A different look from BU offensively as Dearth holds. Holmeyer jogs into the picture now. He's off onto the outside. Talco has it here. A bit of a rough game from him. He's had a couple costly turnovers. Just got a big face-off win. Now he's peeling towards the middle, and he scores! Sam Talco coming up big for BU. Ties the game with 47 seconds left.
Talco's a player that gets fired up. He gets energized off of face-offs, and a few times it hasn't gone in his favor, as been a bit out of control, losing the ball, throwing it away. This time, finds a lane and just takes advantage of it. Nice shot, gets it past Connors. 47 seconds left, and the game's back tied once again.
Sam Talco with his 4th goal of the year, as the goals come less than a minute apart. And a timeout taken with 47 seconds left. But what a response from BU. Navy had scored 4 straight to start the 4th to take a 2-goal lead. And after BU turned it over 2-3 times in a row, it looked like that Navy might be able to hold on. And then the Terriers, when they really have to, little room for error, they get goals from Burr and Talco to tie the game.
BU's shown a lot of its weaknesses in this game with the turnovers and a few of its other problems with clearing. But also, there's been 3 huge goals in this game that have just been momentum changes. You had Cal Dearth scoring right before the half to make it a 4-3 game. James Burr scoring with just a second left in the 3rd quarter. And now it's a goal from Talco. Just some morale boosters, some momentum shifters in this game from his Terriers offense, where one way or another, despite some of the weaknesses they've shown in this game that have kind of built up, just seeing stuff like that is what you really look for as a coach of a team like this, as a young program, a young team. And these morale-boosting goals is just something that BU definitely, no matter what happens, they can hang their hat on.
What a call by Ryan Poley, keeping Talco out there. And BU was looking to get him the ball and just willed himself to the slot area. And was able to beat John Connors to tie the game, but we've still got 47 seconds left. The last face-off was the biggest face-off at the time. Now this one becomes the biggest face-off. And late change, Dove was out there. Now Morello will come back out against Talco. Seeing great battles all game in the face-off circle. So Talco against Morello. Wozniak creeping in there along with Plumer. Another long tie-up. Talco jars it free, but it goes all the way down into the BU end of the field. Ray had a chance there, knocked up by Lee. Still free. Terriers trying to push it forward. Skied into the air by Henry Lee, and now some room for BU. Picked up by Callisto. 20 seconds to go.
Two long poles rushing into the offense. Talco staying back out on offense once again.
Talco has it here with 10 seconds. He jogs onto the left wing. It's all for Sam Talco. Charges in. Talco won't get the shot off. Picked up by Navy, and we will have overtime. What a fun first 60 minutes. We'll have sudden death overtime when we come back. 9-9 on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. We're back for sudden death overtime. Nick Cope alongside Marissa and Jemmy here on the Patriot League Network. 9-9 the score through the first 60 minutes. BU gets 2 goals in the final 2 minutes to force overtime after it looked like Navy might cruise to the finish there after they scored 4 unanswered to start the fourth. But a back and forth game. It's been really all game. And the Terriers will go to overtime for the first time this season. Navy went to overtime against Johns Hopkins back on the 9th. A 12-11 loss in double overtime. Kind of uncharted territory here for BU.
Yeah, BU still a young program, not used to situations like this. Navy, an experienced team, like you mentioned, they did have the overtime loss to Johns Hopkins earlier this season. In that game, Navy had possession, took a bad penalty, gave it to Hopkins, and they were able to score in double overtime. We've seen a few times Navy be a little bit undisciplined in this game, make a few unforced errors. That's one of the keys of this entire overtime period for both teams, is just avoiding those unforced errors.
A goal wins the game. Talco and Morello again. Morello won it forward, but the Terriers will track it down. Wozniak comes forward. He's been big on these face-offs for the Terriers. And now BU will promptly take a timeout and set up the offense with an opportunity to win the game. Head coach Ryan Poley immediately using his timeout, and the Terriers with a chance for their biggest win in program history to this point.
It would be huge, that's for sure. Facing a team Navy ranked 16th in the nation, one of the best teams in the country. Had a few key wins this season already, and the thing about BU, they haven't played their best game. And we've kept mentioning that Navy hasn't played their best game either, but this is a game the Terriers have come up big when they've had to, and this is another situation where they'll have to come up big again.
And the Terriers have 18 turnovers. 13 of those were forced by the Navy defense. As you said, the Mids, they had 3 late turnovers in the final couple minutes of that fourth quarter to give the Terriers a chance.
Really allowed BU to get back into this game. And early on, though, it was BU allowing Navy to extend its lead in this game in the first quarter and into the second quarter as well.
Terriers led by Jack Wilson, who has scored 3 times. They've also got 2 from James Burr. Cal Dearth coming back after missing 2 games. He's got a goal and 2 assists. Christian Carson-Banister in goal has 10 saves on 19 shots faced. On the other side, Navy led by Kasey Reese's 3 goals. They've got 2 goals apiece from Patrick Kina and TJ Hansey. John Connors with 5 saves on 14 shots. So Terriers with a chance to win the game on this first possession. Homeyer challenged immediately by Plumer. And now we'll settle into the offense. Feed behind. Shawl. Knocked away, and it's picked up by Wilson. He was looking for Burr in front, and that pass was deflected.
One thing you don't want to see the Terrier offense do is become tight in the situation.
Homeyer runs in, has a step, and shoots wide. BU has it backed up. 44 seconds into overtime as Homeyer missed well off to the left side of the goal.
Navy has allowed BU some space in a few cases, especially with James Burr, a couple times with Jack Wilson. They want to look for one of those shots again instead of trying to force it through traffic.
Dearth comes forward, fed in front, Burr, save Connors! Burr tried to go up high, and Connors, using the body, deflects it away.
Still, that's a quality shot and what they want to look for. No one really on Burr there, and he gets that opportunity. It's a huge save by Connors.
Homeyer couldn't handle the pass. Ball free, and it's picked up by Navy. Jules Godino, clearance attempt lost. BU knocks it back in their favor, picked up by Dearth. Failed clearance by the mids, and BU will fail to clear it here. A long pass intended for Homeyer.
A chance for BU to take advantage of some mistakes by Navy, can't handle it and throw the ball away themselves.
Navy's done good job on clears, 16 of 19, and able to do it here. There's Terrain. Navy still has a timeout. We're halfway through the first overtime session. Sudden death. Hanchey scampers forward as Navy gets his first offensive look in the overtime. Hanchey defended by Badgett. Fed back out. Now Wendel. Wendel creeping in as the shadows of BU West Campus dorms creep on to this end of the field. Moving in. Reese saved by the foot of Carson-Banister.
Kick save.
Here comes the rebound, though, off the crossbar. Oh, a great chance for Patrick Kina, and missed by inches.
That just barely didn't go in.
Two great chances for Navy, denied by the foot of Carson-Banister and the crossbar.
That first save is something you expect to see in a hockey game, kick save.
Here's Hanchey, matched up with Badgett again. Navy still with a chance to tie the game. Kina racing out. Callisto staying there. Got a minute left in this first overtime session. Now Wendel has a step. Goes behind for Ray. That was deflected. Ray will collect it anyway with some time. Defended by Jermaine. Ray turns around. Shot it wide.
Bad angle shot, good defense by the freshman Quentin Germain.
42 seconds to go in this opening overtime session. Kina has a step. Kina moving in. Save Carson-Banister. Rebound tracked down by Germain. Went to his knees and used his shin to stop Kina, who got free.
Mentioned earlier, a lot of teams try to go low on Carson-Banister and bounce it, and he was ready there, made that save. Kina peeled out to the middle of the field for the third time this game, scored the other two times. This time, Carson-Banister's there for the save.
So now just 13 seconds left in the opening overtime session for the Terriers. Here's Dearth. Dearth lost it, picked it back up. Looking to go back for Shawl. Misplayed it. Now just 3 seconds. Shawl just has to give a Hail Mary. And that does it for overtime number one. Both teams with quality looks. Navy inches from winning the game. We'll head to a second overtime session when we return on the Patriot League Network, powered by Campus Insiders. Overtime session number two. As we remain tied up at 9. Morello and Talco on the face-off. Both teams with quality looks in the first overtime.
Second time to see the Navy's gone to double overtime. They lost the first one to Johns Hopkins 12-11 on a Tuesday night game.
Picked up by Navy. It's Plumer. Navy will get the first opportunity. They had 3 looks that easily could have gone for goals. 3 they were denied by Carson-Banister's foot, the crossbar, and then Carson-Banister's knee. But you're just able to hang on and get to this second session. Wendel probing. Forced out by Wozniak. Quickly relayed over for Reese. Reese moves in, back out Terrain. Navy moving with pace, Terrain beyond the goal line and gives it up.
Navy trying to work out of its midfield a little bit more this overtime. Last time we saw them coming from behind the net a bit.
There's Ray, save Carson-Banister, tried to go along the turf. And loose ball foul will go against BU. Terriers aggressive to try and get that ground ball.
Wozniak tried to push to get it. Navy keeps possession.
Another great save for Carson-Banister, number 12. Keena defended there by Beal. Turns around, shoots, save Carson-Banister, got it into the net. What an overtime from the BU goalkeeper.
Carson-Banister about as locked in as I've ever seen a goalie in a period of time. Like, that's about 5 saves there between these two overtimes that he single-handedly come up with.
Chance for the Terriers now. Sudden death overtime. Next goal wins. BU calls timeout. With 2:18, we'll stay here, and no matter where this game goes, the Terriers surely have to feel great about how they kept the game close in the first half, the strong start in the second half and in the third quarter, and then to respond in the fourth, and then the goalie play you're getting from Carson-Banister here in the overtime. This is something you don't see a lot of third-year programs able to accomplish.
The third-year program coming off of what was a pretty bad loss last week, being where the team's at right now, starting off 3-0. Coming off of a bad loss, now playing the number 16 team in the country, a team that a lot of national lacrosse experts were picking to win the Patriot League, to usurp Loyola. And BU's come out here one way or another, no matter what happens, to take them to double overtime in a tie game, to come back from down 2 goals late in the fourth quarter, have 3 real defining goals in this game that switched momentum. It's one of the games in this program that BU is going to look back at one way or another.
9-9. Navy led at halftime 4-3. BU led 7-5 entering the fourth quarter before the Mids reeled off 4 unanswered goals. They led by 2 late. The Terriers got 2 goals in the final couple minutes of the fourth quarter to force overtime. And now we'll possess the ball following the timeout. 2:18 to play in this second overtime session. Christian Carson-Banister has made 5 saves in overtime. Homeyer controls off the restart. Watched closely by Matt Reese. Excuse me, that's Finnell. Given off for Shawl. He's able to hang on. John Traynor watching him as Shawl jogs towards the back line. Halfway through the second overtime session. Shawl racing out, gets a little push from behind by Traynor. Here's Shawl. Draws a double. Passes out. Controlled there by Greg Ferris. Trying to get around Finnell. Ferris holds here. And we're ready to go, and we'll give it up for Homeyer. 90 seconds left in overtime, number 2. Homeyer watched closely by Plumer.
No real opportunities to get a shot yet here.
Homer looked towards the middle. Spin move around. Homeyer looking towards the middle. Way back outside. Shot! Score! The Terriers win in overtime. James Burr with the game-winning goal.
James Burr, who's been the leader of the offense of this Terrier team all season long, buries a goal, and Boston University defeats number 16 ranked Navy.
The biggest win in Terrier program history as they knock off the Mids. They score the last 3 goals of the game. It is Homeyer setting up the freshman James Burr with his 3rd goal of the game. And what a phenomenal lacrosse game we saw today.
The resiliency of this BU team through all of its struggle, through clearing, through turnover that it's had all season, despite all of that, the resilience of this team leads the program to probably its trademark win in the history of this program.
BU picks up a huge win in the opening weekend of Patriot League play. As you see Ryan Poley rally the troops around after they defeat a stout defensive team in Navy. Final score, 10-9. Final thoughts, Marissa?
This is the Navy team that held a Division I program in Delaware to 1 goal last week. BU comes in this week, not daunted by it whatsoever, scores 10 goals, come back in double overtime. To beat a team like Navy is just, this is a program that's going to go places. You can see it. Despite a tough loss last week, this is a program that's going to continue to grow and get stronger in a Patriot League that's really so wide open.
Navy falls to 2-2. They'll head to Bucknell next week. Meanwhile, BU moves to 4-1 and will have a week off from Patriot League, have non-conference action against Canisius. So for Marissa and Jimmy, I'm Nick Cope saying good afternoon from Nickerson Field. Final score, BU 10, Navy 9 in double overtime. This has been an exclusive presentation of the Patriot League Network on Campus Insiders.